everyone, so this is going to be a field strip and cleaning of the SIG P365. This particular one is the model 380. It's one of the more popular carry guns out there. This is actually the gun that I use as my everyday carry. And because I use it as an everyday carry, it is pretty darn dirty. Because I like to practice a significant amount with whatever gun I am going to carry, because once, you know, if that bullet leaves the gun, you still own it, even if you don't hit what you're aiming at. So we'll take the gun out of the holster. This gun, as I said, is a carry gun, so it is loaded. We will clear the gun and take this and put this away. The way to break this down is relatively straightforward and easy. What you do is you lock the slide back into place. You take this lever and you move it down to a 6 o'clock position, like that. And then release the slide with the slide release. And, whoops. And sometimes that actually happens, so I'm kind of glad that that did happen. If it pops back, sometimes it has to go a little bit past 6 o'clock to get it off. So there we go. So you can see it's let's call it 6:15. And it just slides right apart. We have the lower, which looks like it's a little bit dirty, and then the upper, and that definitely looks dirty. So we'll take this apart, take the guide rail and spring out, and then also take the barrel out, which looks like it's seen its better days, right? So to clean this, we have our brush, which is 9mm, as well as 380, for those of you who may not know. They are the same size. The 380 is just a little bit shorter. We have our bore cleaner, our lube, some Q-tips, which are lint-free, and a brush. So we're gonna start with getting a patch, and let's get some of this solvent working to break down the carbon on this gun. All right, so we're gonna put that there and really just soak it, because like I said, this gun is really pretty bad right now. So we'll do that, get a little bit on the outside as well. There we go. We're gonna let that sit, pull this off, and let's get the spring and the guide rail. Do that. You can see the top rail is really pretty dirty. Get in here, and again, you know, just soak it, let it do its job. That is pretty black, so we're gonna put this over here, and we will get another patch, and go ahead and keep doing it. You wanna make sure that where the extractor is and the firing pin, you wanna get that really good. You do not necessarily wanna do it like this. The reason being, you don't really want anything to drip down into where your firing pin is. So I just like to do it on a side, so if anything's gonna drip, it's gonna drip down. Right there is where your extractor is. You wanna make sure that's pretty clear too. And get the rails and set this aside. And again, you can see it's kind of dirty. Take one more patch and get the lower, back here, the rails. Okay. Also You want to make sure you get right there at the beginning of the feeder ramp. And honestly, you also, which I will admit I am guilty of not doing all the time, you want to get in the magazine. For that, I'm going to use a Q-tip and just swab it down. And yeah, it's got some dirt going on there. All right. So we're letting the solvent do its work. And it is really, really pretty dirty. Another thing, and I'm not quite sure about this, I just do it as a matter of course, but if you know, please leave a comment. I don't ever put a dirty patch or dirty Q-tip back in the bottle. I think it fouls it, but that is just me. If you know different, please let us know. All right, so we are getting in there. All right, and you can see that was pretty dirty. All right, so we are going to, now that we have this soaking a little bit, we're going to take our brush and we are going to brush forward through the barrel. Some people say that you can only go with the direction of the bullet because you don't want to damage the barrel. Barrel is steel, the brush is brass. I do not believe that the brass will hurt the steel. So honestly, I go back and forth. Some people will just go forward. They will then take the brush off when it's here, unscrew it, and do the whole process over again. And I'll also admit that I used to do that until I had some brass bristles from the brush stuck in my finger, and I had to extract them, somewhat akin to a splinter. That was absolutely not fun. All right, so we gave it a good brush. Let's take a clean patch and see how dirty or clean the barrel is. Sometimes you're going to have to run through a couple of these, right? So we'll take it and go through. There we go. And yeah, there's still a lot of carbon there. So we're gonna take it, brush it through a few times, and take another clean patch. And we'll go through it again. Sometimes, depending on how dirty the gun is, you're gonna have to do this, multiple times. But it's starting to get a little bit better. And a little bit, what we can also do as well is take a little extra solvent if we think it's there. Sometimes I do use the Q-tip as well just to get the solvent in the barrel. Mostly when I'm having trouble getting the patches in, it's kind of like sewing. So you can see that's still pretty dirty. So we're gonna go ahead, give it another brush, right? And go through. And now let's see where we're at. All right, there we go. See if that helped. Still dirty. All right, so we're gonna keep doing this. I may just edit this part out because it's so dirty. We might just skip to a few patches forward where it's clean. But like I said, you just got to keep doing it until it cleans up. That's just the price you pay for shooting a lot of rounds through a gun. And sometimes, as I do, if you get the ammo on special, sometimes there's a reason, and that reason may be that it's a dirtier cartridge than normal. Now, the other thing I've noticed, I haven't heard this complaint about the P365 9mm, but the 380 can be moody. So if you do carry the 380, and again, I love the gun, but I've noticed if it's not clean, it can be picky with what it eats. So that's pretty good. We're gonna move on, and let's wipe down the barrel. All right. And we're gonna pay particular attention to that feeding ramp and make sure that is nice and clean. And gonna take some more lubricant, or I'm sorry, not lubricant, some more solvent, bore cleaner. Gonna put it on the feeding ramp, and I personally like to use a toothbrush. Yeah, gonna get that clean. You can do the outside as well. The outside of this wasn't particularly bad. All right, but that's a part to pay particular attention to, because really that's where that's the feeding ramp. That's where the bullets go in, and on a semi, that's something you want clean, and that's an area that you don't want to malfunction. All right, so that 22 patches later, slight exaggeration, but not much, it is good. You're gonna take the spring. We are gonna just wipe that down. And make sure that we are good. All right. We're gonna take the patch again, and just because it took a little bit longer than I thought, gonna lubricate this up again. Again, we're gonna hit the front where the firing pin and extractor are, the rails, and you can see it's dirty. So once we get that nice and coated in our solvent, and take our trusty toothbrush and give it a quick scrub. Now, if you have the 9mm version of this, it's barely heavier, but those 3 holes, I believe that is where you will find some weight added onto the slide. All right, so this is looking better. You can see we got a good bit of carbon buildup that we're getting off. And you know what? You can do the exterior too. I honestly always forget to do the exterior. At least with the solvent, I do usually give it a quick oil at the end. For the slide, I like to actually just take a clean rag at this point, or a t-shirt. This is a t-shirt rag, and kind of give that a quick wipe. Gonna wipe that down, and got some dirt there. Let's see how good we got it. Not bad. Not bad. A little dirty still, but good enough for government work. And that area still dirty, so I don't think I can work the camera properly, but we definitely have some carbon buildup there. Going to be very careful getting some more solvent on it to break that up. Don't want anything going down into that hole, right? Especially right near the extractor. All right, that's one of the reasons I do really like the Q-tips, and you can see that was pretty dirty, despite the fact we tried that with a patch. Hit it again, trying not to let the solvent get into the hole. And let's give it another really good scrub in that area. And apologize for my camera skills, but there we go. That looks markedly better. We're gonna take a clean patch and just run it over that area to see if we actually got it pretty clean. All right, let's get to the lower, and we'll take this patch again. Let's get it coated a little bit, see if we're getting everything off and up. And like I said, this gun was really, really dirty. So I was actually having some troubles when I would try to rack the gun. It would stick a little bit, and I had to give it a helping hand. So that is not something you want going on in your carry gun, right? So the moral of that story is make sure, right, that if you're going to carry a gun, do everything you can to make sure that it runs properly. All right, so we got that. And again, I'm going to take this, break up any of the carbon, work on the rails. And we will take a clean patch or two and wipe this down. So the Q-tips are actually great as well for getting into the rail areas and some of the areas that your fingers and a patch may not work well with. What you can also do is, there are picks, and you can put a patch on a pick if you want to get into the corners better. I personally don't do that terribly often, but I do it on occasion. All right. So this gun is markedly better than when we started. And since I will be using it again pretty soon, we will be cleaning it again, and maybe it's a step-by-step battle getting this thing back to clean. All right. So we've done all the major parts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lubricate everything a little bit. So in regard to the barrel, if I know I'm not going to shoot and keep it in a safe, I tend to lubricate a little bit more, but I'm just going to put one little drop on that, and I'm going to put this patch in, leave the oil part, the lube part on the tip, and just go through once. Again, you really don't want to lubricate the inside of the barrel too terribly much. I'm going to take this same little patch, and I'm going to take the spring and lubricate the spring. Again, just one drop. And you pretty much want to get any of the parts that are moving or grinding, okay? So for the rest of this, for the rail, for example, and this part right here where there tends to be some wear and contact, whoops, gonna just take a drop or two on our lint-free Q-tip. Gonna just put a little bit there and go on the inside rail, and again, go on the inside rail. So we got that. Take some more lubricant, put it on the other side, put a couple of drops, just one or two. Again, you don't want too much, and I'm gonna do the rail here with one streak. And I'm gonna do this other side, and we are good with lubricating. So now what we are going to do is go ahead and put this back together again. So we're going to start with the barrel and put the barrel back in place, and that sits right there. And now take the guide rail and the spring, right? And we are going to put that in like so, and that goes back in pretty easy. Now to get the top part on, what we want to do is, again, we want to make sure that the slide release, not the slide release, I'm sorry, that this particular lever is, again, at 615. We're going to match that up. This is a little bit harder to do under the camera. And we are going to slide this back all the way, and we are going to put the slide lock on. When we push this back into a lock position, we are good. And what we'll do is we'll check it, and it's moving much better than it was. Then the other thing that I do like to do is I'm going to take a drop, a drop, a drop, and just going to polish the gun up a little bit. And that is going to hopefully make it look all nice and new again. Flip to the other side, a drop and a drop. Get the handle, and just going to make sure that it is nice and clean. And the gun, much better, much smoother. It is cleaned. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. If there was something that you thought we did wrong or we could do better, please go into the comments and let us know. We're learning all the time from the people who watch our videos. Thank you very much, and you've been watching the Gun Guy channel.